Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out Arkan, the Dog Adventurer. This game is developed by Taverna Game Studio and published by Sometimes You, and releases on June 30th, 2021 for a price of $4.99. At the time of recording this review though, the game is pre-orderable in the Xbox Store, so we should have this review out a little bit before it releases, and it is on sale for a price of $3.99. So let's dive into the game and see what it's about. So there's three distinct difficulties: easy, normal, and hardcore. And the difficulties are really only going to affect kind of how the enemies interact and attack with you. They don't really change up the levels. And speaking of levels, you're going to have three different world environments with 20 stages each where you can earn up to 3 stars for a total of 180 stars to fully complete the game. Now, to get all of the achievements in the game, you only need to get a total of 100 stars, and it's pretty easy to get the first 60, knocking out the first 20 levels, and then just playing in the other two kind of areas in the game to knock out the last 40. So we'll dive in here and kind of show off the basic principle. You pretty much jump around, and it's almost like a brick breaker style game. You have your little staff here that you hit and bounce a ball around, and you're trying to kill all the enemies. Now, when you're playing in the game, you're going to be able to jump. You can kind of stack your jumping abilities to progress through your levels, and your ultimate goal to complete out the stage and at least unlock the next level, you have to kill all the enemies in that stage. Now, you can control a little bit of the way your gameplay works by being able to manipulate the ball that you're kind of bouncing around with your guy based on the way you jump and the angle that you kind of hit and interact with things. But as you get further and further into the game, all those impacts that you do are actually going to become very important, as you have to be precise and aim while you're playing. Because if you kill all the enemies before you collect all the stars in a level, or if you die at any point, you have to restart that entire stage. So if you see here, we're going to kill this first enemy here, but if I jump off the edge of the map, I die, the level's going to completely restart, and I have to kind of go all over again. So to get those stars in a level, you have to really manage the way you interact with the different enemy types and make sure before you kill everybody that you're really going after and getting those stars to get the most points out of your stage and the level that you're playing in. Now, we'll go ahead and die here, and I'm going to bounce you to one of the kind of later levels in the game so you can kind of really see how the enemies kind of ramp up. There's a decent little variety, but for the most part, you're really only going to be fighting the space that you have to play in, as well as kind of the environment that you get to interact and work within the game. I definitely think that the game's difficulty level does increase pretty dramatically when you're playing, and it's going to be very unforgiving, especially if you're trying to get, all those, stars to get your full 100 done, as some of the enemies in some of the stages will actually be almost right in the front, and you have to really try to not hit and interact with any of them. Achievement-wise, it is, like I said, a not too difficult list. It's just going to take you some time to really get your 100 stars, and then figuring out like what enemies really interact with you. The little guys that spawn the hands from under the ground are probably the most annoying because it causes you to not really be able to sit in one position, and you have to really think about all your movements while you're playing. Overall, it's a very interesting concept and style for a brick breaker-esque game, and I think Ark and the Dog Adventure brings a unique take to how this game mechanics work. It can be really frustrating as you get into like, your 90 to 100 stars that you need for those final achievements, but trust me, it is completely doable. I'd say you could probably do everything in around an hour, hour and a half based on your skill level, but it's definitely a game that's worth checking out if you want to have a little bit of a challenge, and it's not a bad price coming in under 10 bucks for a 1000 that'll actually feel rewarding by the time you fully complete it. Overall, if I have to give the game any type of a rating or review, just because a lot of the game is fairly repetitive, there is some difficulty to it, I'm probably looking at giving the game about a 6 out of 10. It's mainly because really I'd like to see maybe your guy having to battle with more than just left to right on the screen. Maybe enemies would be up top on some stages, below you, and kind of vary that up a little bit. So maybe if they add some DLC levels to the game, who knows? Maybe they're listening, watching this video, and might consider doing that. Outside of that, if you want to pick up the game, as always, we've got a link down in the description. If you have any questions or want to know more about the game, let us know in the comments. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps support us and allows us to keep bringing out content like this on a daily basis. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you have a great rest of your day.